Okay, so we have the laser cutter, the fume system, which is going to draw all the fumes out of the laser cutter and filter them so that we can breathe clean air, and then the computer that'll run it all. The computer is plugged in with this little cable here. That goes to the laser cutter and drives everything. These two are connected already. So really, all you have to do when you're ready to go is set up your machine and print your job. Okay, so let's go over that. The on-off button on the machine is back here. We'll turn it on, and you'll hear it start to fire up. Every time that you turn that on, the bed is going to automatically lower. So let me show you that. So the bed is right now lowering down. And we're going to have to raise it back up. Okay, and that's done off to the right here. There's some buttons over here that can control things. These two black buttons here will raise or lower the bed. So we're going to raise it back up. Now, one thing we have to be really careful of is we don't ever want to raise that up so high that it's going to bonk that. That's going to do some permanent damage to the machine. That red thing over there I was pointing to, that's the actual the head of the laser that's going to do the cutting. So the laser comes out from the side here, and it's going to hit a mirror here and get directed downward. So we're going to raise that up to approximately the right height, a little bit lower actually, and I'll do some fine tuning. These four red arrows here, these will allow me to position the laser anywhere I want. So let's say we're going to cut some wood. We'll put the material in there, and we'll start to raise this up until we get to the exact right focal length. And this is what's going to tell us where to stop. So we're going to go all the way up until that just basically just kisses. Yep, there we go. You saw it move. You can even go up until it falls off if you want to. That's going to give us the right focal length of the laser. Again, let me just show you that one more time. This is going to rest right on this ledge right here, and we'll raise this up to the appropriate height. Perfect. Okay. This lid serves as an emergency shutoff, so if you ever open that lid up during a job, it'll shut the machine off. So no need to panic, just lift that up. Over here on the fume system, before you actually start your job, you're going to want to turn this thing on. So this is the on button right here. We're going to wait until we actually get our job positioned. I'm going to go ahead and print this really quick. Okay, so we have our design completely finalized here. We want to get it to the job manager next so we can actually run it on the laser cutter. So we're going to go ahead and print this. File print, or just Control P. And we'll bring up a sort of standard print screen like this. We're going to change this to Rayjet Engraver. That's our job manager. We're going to go to Preferences. Now here we have a library basically of all the different things that we can cut. In this case we want wood. Right now we're on plastic. And if I were on plastic, I can choose all different types of plastic that have either already been put in the library by sort of default, or that I've added previously. I've put a couple of these in myself. And a lot of it's just trial and error, finding the right settings. In this case, we're cutting wood. So I know that the wood I'm cutting is Trotec 1/4-inch plywood. So it's plywood supplied by Trotec, which is really good for the laser cutter. And I'm using a 2.5-inch lens. That's important because this one over here, the 1/4-inch ply, is using a different lens. So those things all matter. So if I click on that, I can see the settings over here. It says, now I can highlight red or black. So black is what's being engraved, remember, and it's going to be running on 50% power, 100% speed. If I need to tweak those, I can, but I've found that that works really well for this material. Cutting, 100% power, 2% speed. If I find that I'm not cutting all the way through the material, I might want to, I can't bump the power up anymore, but I can move the speed down so it goes slower, and that'll get through material better. Again, only if it's not making it all the way through. Okay, there are a few other things that you can tweak. If you click on next, for example, the resolution. I don't change much in here, but the resolution, if I'm looking for a really high resolution image, I might change this. But really, 500 DPI is plenty. And if you go up to 1,000, your job's gonna take twice as long. Let me go back really quick. The one thing that you do want to make sure, and it always is by default, or should be, the air assist is always on. That's basically the compressed air that's blowing out of the nozzle right alongside the laser, and that makes sure that any flames that do come up hopefully are being suppressed by that air. We do have a fire extinguisher right next to the machine if anything goes wrong. I've never seen anything actually catch on fire, but if it does, then there's that fire extinguisher just in case. But again, it shouldn't happen. You do always have to stay right by the machine just to make sure everything's running okay anyway. Okay, so different things you can look at there. Again, not much. This is just a summary of everything that you're cutting, all the settings. We're good to go. Really, most of the time, I only change these settings right here. Once you're happy, you're going to click on play. And you get back to this screen here, and you're good to go. You just tweak the preferences, that's all. And now you can print. We're going to click print. And that's going to send it to the manager. So to access the actual job manager here, you're going to click on this arrow down here, go to here, double click there, and there's our flower press. Okay, cool. At this point, if the machine were running right now, it's all plugged in, we could hit the start button right here, and that would start the whole job. Okay, now before we actually hit start, we need to turn the machine on right here. You have to hold that button down for about a second. And you'll hear it kick on, and it's sucking air now, and so we can go ahead and hit that start button that we saw, and our job will start going. So there we go, that's the laser cutter.